Hey, what up, guys? Finishing off the 2019 year-end top 10s for my number 2 division in boxing, the heavyweight division. This video, we're talking about the number 1 heavyweight in the world, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder. Wilder entered 2019 coming off of a great 2018 where he really finally took the next step in his career. That people were wondering if it was ever going to happen. He, in March, he took on the boogeyman of the division and undefeated Luis Ortiz. And, he fought his ass off in that year of 2018. And in a great fight, he came back and knocked out Ortiz in the 10th round. Then in December, he took on Tyson Fury. And it was he was getting outboxed and outclassed in that one, but he scored a couple big knockdowns in the 9th and then the 12th round. And somehow the judges came back scoring that a draw. I personally thought he got cleanly outboxed and should have lost the decision. But he walked away, escaped with the world title and his undefeated record still intact. And entered 2019. I think he was entering just... People were wondering if he was going to get another crack at Anthony Joshua. At Tyson Fury, he had dropped a spot to number 3. So I don't think anybody was thinking that he was going to claim the number 1 spot without doing something dramatic. Well, a couple dramatic things happened. In May, he took on Dominic Breazeale in a mandatory defense. And he walked in there. Breazeale had only lost to Anthony Joshua by a 7th round TKO. And he went in there and blasted Breazeale, dropping him hard. First round knockout victory. Left no doubt, just a brutal fucking knockout. And put himself, kept himself in line. But I wasn't too surprised that he knocked out Breazeale. So, but then when Anthony Joshua got beat by Andy Ruiz, that mixed up the whole heavyweight division. Wilder automatically moved up, with that. But he needed to have another emphatic win and impressive win. And in November, he decided to defend his title in a rematch against the boogeyman, Luis Ortiz. This was a fight he did not have to take. And he took it anyways. And he actually, while he was setting up for this one, he was finalizing the rematch with Tyson Fury. So he was looking ahead as well as facing Luis Ortiz. And for me, I thought he was going to knock Ortiz out, and it happened. Ortiz was outboxing him. He was outlanding him. It was a decent fight. Wilder wasn't getting completely dominated, but Ortiz was winning the rounds. I had him up 4-2, and then in the 7th round, he just landed a fucking laser right hand right down the middle, caught Ortiz hard, dropped him very hard. Ortiz could not recover. And the referee stopped the fight, and a brutal 7th round knockout win, and left no doubt that he's the better man between those two. That Ortiz cannot survive 12 rounds with Deontay Wilder. And for me, after I felt like Wilder in the first fight with Ortiz and the fight with Fury, because those were on a big stage in 2018. That he hesitated. He had some big moments, but he hesitated for the most part and wasn't aggressive. And I think that almost cost him in the Ortiz fight the first time. He almost got beat. He almost got knocked out. And if that fight goes 12, he might lose a decision because of it. But then in the fight with Fury, I felt it cost him as well, that he wasn't that aggressive. And I think those fights, he just kind of got caught in the moment, is what I believe, because he found his confidence, in my opinion, in 2019. Just to go after and step into that punch that he knocked Dominic Breazeale out with was huge. And then to follow that up with just having the full confidence that he was going to knock out Ortiz and go into Tyson Fury right after that. I mean, to me, that puts him on another level. And he just looked supremely confident, like nobody really can beat him. And I don't know, his last 5 fights, ever since he destroyed Bermane Stiverne, he's become a different fighter. He really has. He's more aggressive. And in 2019, he found, I think he tapped his full potential, and now is riding into 2020 the number one heavyweight in the world. And right now, I think it's pretty clear that he's number one. Even though Tyson Fury deserved the decision in 2018, Tyson Fury didn't do anything in 2019. He didn't fight anybody. Wilder came out and destroyed Brazil, destroyed Ortiz, and is still the number one heavyweight in the world, or is the number one heavyweight in the world. He's riding into this year. He's made 10 successful defenses. He's going to be taking on, he's 34, and he's 42-0-1 with 41 knockouts. I don't think anybody goes 12 with him. Only 2 guys have ever done it, and the first guy that did it, he destroyed Mermain Stavern in a rematch. Now he can do that again against Tyson Fury, and I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to knock Fury out. February 22nd, he returns to defend that title against Fury, and I think he's going to knock him out in the rematch and leave no doubt who's number one. If that happens, Fury could exercise a rematch clause if he loses. I heard the story on this is the loser could exercise a rematch clause and we could see them fight again. Now, if he wins emphatically to where Fury doesn't want to fight him again, then he's got a couple options to make. He could take a look at Anthony Joshua. If Joshua is not making a second mandatory fight or trying to unify belts with whoever the WBO champion might be. You know, and maybe they can make that fight. If not, I think he needs to think about a third fight with, or he needs to think about, he might have to make a mandatory himself against interim champion Dillian White. And that would be great in itself, too. I'd love to see that. So just a lot of things can happen, but he's got to pass the test in the huge rematch with Tyson Fury. I think he's going to do it. I think this is going to be his year where he leaves no doubt that he's the best, or he's going to get beat by somebody else. But I'm leaning against the fact that him and Joshua are going to get in the ring. I just don't see it happening until probably 2021. And so I think he's going to either have his year tied up with Fury. I think he might have a 3-fight year, and he might take on Dillian White and destroy Dillian White. And I think he will. I think he's going to knock Dillian White the fuck out. But I want to see him do it. I want to see him get in the ring. And then I think at the end of 2020, when the smoke clears, Deontay Wilder could be number one without question. So we'll see what happens. He's rolling, though. He's at the top of his game. And we'll see what he does in his next fight. So that's it. Hey, bro, I got the medicine for Paulie. Oh. Yeah, I was about to jump out right now, but.
I was like, who are you?
Yeah. There you go, man.
No problem.
Thanks. All right, guys, sorry about that. Had to drop medicine off for my son. So I also want to get into the state of the heavyweight division and where it is now. The heavyweights are back, and they're back with, without question. They are back with a bullet. And I love the heavyweight division. I really am in love with the heavyweight division. Again, there's so many good fighters in this division, and they're all willing to fight each other now. And now that Fury and Wilder are getting together for their rematch and they're crossing the street, it's only going to lead to other fights, and DAZN hopefully crossing the street with ESPN and whatever to make Anthony Joshua. Because I think Anthony Joshua, after losing to Andrew Ruiz, I think he knows his time's running short. He can't be taking too many risks facing lower level opposition, and I think the fights are possible. But these guys all have mandatories. Mandatories are due for every belt except for the WBA super title held by Joshua, but Joshua has his other 2 belts due. What's going to happen with that? Are we going to see Alexander Usyk claim the WBO title? And then what is he going to do after that? That's the big question, is what's going to happen. We're still waiting around for word on what these guys are going to do next. Like Joshua, when he's going to face Kubrat Pulev. We're waiting around to hear the news on that. We're waiting around to see if Joshua's going to fight, if he's going to possibly go after the winner, if he's going to face Alexander Usyk in a mandatory defense. So a lot of things here. Will Dillian White get his title shot finally against Deontay Wilder? Who's going to win the Wilder-Fury fight? So a lot of questions going to be answered in the next month or two. And then, we should have an explosive year in the heavyweight division. I can't wait to see it. Make sure you're checking it out. There should not be a big heavyweight fight in the top 10 that you miss. There just shouldn't. Everybody's with somebody. There's DAZN, there's ESPN, There's PBC. You should not miss it. And then there's guys on the rise that are trying to make a name for himself. Adam Konaki. I think he's going to knock on the door this year. You got Jarrell Miller. You got, guys that really want to get into the mix. Joe Joyce, undefeated Joe Joyce. Daniel Dubois from the United Kingdom. Some of these guys are knocking on the door trying to prove that they belong. And we're going to see. We're going to see who's willing to fight each other, who gets in the ring, and when the smoke clears, who's the man in the heavyweight division by the end of the year. All right, guys. That's the 2019 year-end top 10, the heavyweight division, featuring the #1 heavyweight in the world, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder. Hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.